Welcome back to International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard, at the Gold Star Standard. Reactions, reviews, and news you can use. Once again, I am your host, International Yada, for the records and the dollars. And check it out. Operation Guardian Force. What is it? Operation Guardian Force coming out the state of Mississippi. Let's check this out. Human trafficking, fentanyl, and sex offending. Even though this is about the state of Mississippi, this is also about the nationwide effort to crack down sex trafficking / human trafficking. And human trafficking of minors. Here we go.
Attorney General Lynn Fitch announced that 72 arrests have been made in their efforts to crack down on human trafficking. Operation Guardian Force was a 2-week statewide law enforcement effort that also led to the recovery of 29 human trafficking victims. Fitch says the operation ran from July 14th to July 29th and worked in partnership with 400 federal, state, and local law enforcement officers.
You hear that? 400 local, state, and federal officers. It's a lot of manpower put behind this operation, so you can see the seriousness of it. Okay, here we go. Jackson, Mississippi, a 2-week statewide law enforcement effort, Operation Guardian Force, has led to the arrest of 72 people and the recovery of 29 human trafficking victims. The effort was led by Attorney General's Office, Human Trafficking Task Force, Fentanyl Strike Force, and Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. They worked in partnership with 400. Y'all hear that? They worked in partnership with 400 federal, state, and local law enforcement officers to coordinate search warrants, arrest, and victim services. Why would they pair human trafficking with fentanyl? We understand the sex offending. You guys out there on them sex offenders list and have absconded. Hey, sounds like a problem. Anyways, human trafficking and fentanyl. Let's see what the White House had to say. Straight from President Donald J. Trump in the White House. Here we go.
It's an honor to be with you. Today we strike a righteous blow to the drug dealers, narcotic traffickers, and criminal cartels that we've all been hearing so much about for so many years. And we take a historic step toward justice for every family touched by the fentanyl scourge as we sign the Halt Fentanyl Act into law. With this bill, we are officially and permanently classifying all fentanyl-related substances as Schedule 1 narcotics, meaning anyone caught trafficking these illicit poisons will be punished with a mandatory 10-year minimum sentence in prison. We're joined today by just a few of the millions.
You hear that? If you get caught trafficking fentanyl under this new law, the Halt Fentanyl Act or the Halt Fentanyl Bill, that's a mandatory 10 years in prison. So if y'all out here using fentanyl, if you guys out here using fentanyl to human traffic these victims, it's over with. Take heed. Everything is not for everybody. And you should probably find something legal to do. If this is your get down, human trafficking mixed with fentanyl, if this is your get down, hey, find something legal to do immediately. A lot of y'all think it's a game. till it's happening to you. Take heed. Learn from the mistakes of others. And don't do it. Don't throw your life away. Here we go.
In prison. We're joined today by just a few of the millions of families ravaged by this scourge.
This is what we voted for, Mr. President. God bless you. God bless our angel families who are all here with us today.
So today, on behalf of all Americans who have lost a loved one to opioids, we renew our vow to liberate America from this horrible plague. And we'll be getting the drug dealers, pushers, and peddlers off our street. And we will not rest until we have ended the drug overdose epidemic.
Straight from the White House and President Donald J. Trump. Fentanyl. There will be mandatory 10-year minimums if you get caught trafficking fentanyl. So you want to mix it up. A lot of y'all done went crazy out here. The proof is in these laws and the changing of these laws. Anyways, let's continue with this. Operation Guardian Force ran from July 14th to July 29th. The following agencies assisted in rounding up offenders and locating victims. The operation also included a sex offenders compliance check, which located and identified sex offender registry absconders. Hey, which is a good thing. You out there on the sex offenders list and you absconded, you might be up to no good. You might be up to no good. Here we go. Bay St. Louis Police Department, Biloxi Police Department, DeSoto County Sheriff's Office, Drug Enforcement Administration, or the DEA, Federal Bureau of Investigation, or the FBI, Forest County Sheriff's Office, Harrison County Sheriff's Office, Hattiesburg Police Department, Homeland Security Investigations, or the HSI, Horn Lake Police Department. Over 400 local, state, and federal officers were involved in Operation Guardian Force. If you think it's a game, if you think this sex trafficking / human trafficking thing is a joke or a game, think again. Hold on. Before we continue, let's go over what it is. Because if you get caught up in this sex trafficking thing and they find you guilty of sex trafficking using force, fraud, coercion, or violence, hey, you could possibly do life in prison. So let's go over this really quick. Force. This refers to the use or threat of physical violence, physical restraint, or confinement to compel someone to do something against their will. This is what force is. Okay? Fraud. This involves deception, false promises, or trickery to manipulate or mislead someone into a situation they would not otherwise enter. Examples including false promises of employment, withholding wages, lying about promises for a better life, blackmail, or extortion. Coercion. This involves psychological or emotional manipulation, threats of harm to the individual or their loved ones, abuse of the legal process, or debt manipulation to control someone's behavior and prevent them from leaving a situation. Last but not least, we have violence. While often encompassing physical force, this can also refer to the broader spectrum of harm inflicted, including psychological and emotional abuse, threats, and intimidation. Force, fraud, coercion, violence, and or the threats of violence are the elements needed to find you guilty in a sex trafficking case. You don't want to catch a sex trafficking case. Okay? A lot of y'all see the seriousness of this, but a lot of you guys don't. The proof is in the pudding. We have story after story of people getting caught up in this. I suggest that you tune in to International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard, at the Gold Star Standard, and get you some news you can use. Okay, here we go. Jackson County Sheriff's Office, Jones County Sheriff's Office. We still going through the agencies that were involved in Operation Guardian Force. Over 400 officers hit the streets in Mississippi to figure this thing out. Here we go. Lamar County Sheriff's Office, Lee County Sheriff's Office, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics, Mississippi Department of Revenue, Alcoholic Beverage Control, or ABC. Mississippi Office of Homeland Security, North Mississippi Narcotics Task Force, Saltillo Police Department, South Haven Police Department. Y'all know South Haven. As soon as you headed south leaving Memphis, y'all know how South Haven get down. Right there watching. Okay, here we go. Stone County Sheriff's Office, Tunica County Sheriff's Office, Tupelo Police Department, Wayne County Sheriff's Office. My office is committed to taking criminals who traffic people and drugs off the street, and is equally committed to setting victims on the road to recovery. I am proud of the dedicated investigators and prosecutors for the Attorney General's office, as well as our partners in local, state, and federal law enforcement for their work on this operation and every day to keep our community safe, said Attorney General Lynn Finch. And I am grateful to President Trump for making efforts to eradicate human trafficking and fentanyl as top priorities. Once again, Operation Guardian Force, human trafficking, fentanyl, and sex offenders. Acting Assistant Secretary Gradison here to observe the hard work Mississippi's law enforcement is doing to achieve these same goals. Acting Assistant Secretary Andrew Gradison with the Administration for Children and Families observed the work of Operation Guardian Force. The Trump administration will partner with anyone who will join us in the fight against human trafficking, said Gradison. It was honored to witness firsthand Attorney General Finch's leadership and Mississippi's effective coordination between law enforcement and victim services to help save lives. Once again, this is not a joke, it's not a game, and it's not just Mississippi. See the effort that they put into this human trafficking / sex trafficking operation in Mississippi? They got operations like this going on all over the country right now. Take heed. If you're involved in this, you should find yourself something legal to do. Don't throw your life away. Getting involved with something that you really know nothing about. Take heed. Okay, here we go. Check this out.
Today, here's something that you better believe. 72 people were arrested. 72. Think about that. 29 victims rescued from a massive human sex trafficking bust in Mississippi. Operation Guardian Force took 2 weeks, 400 federal, state, and local agencies working together. Talk about your tax dollars at work. More of this, please. Let's bring in former detective and...
I'm not sure if y'all understand the seriousness of this. 400 federal, state, and local agencies assisted in this effort to stop human trafficking / fentanyl and you sex offenders. Play games with it if you want to. Take heed. Let's go.
Talk about your tax dollars at work. More of this, please. Let's bring in former detective and former White House human trafficking czar, Bill Wolf. Bill, thank you very much for being with me tonight. And bravo on these men and women that got this done. You know, this is an issue that's a talking point, but nobody ever captures the reality. Where does this size up in your estimation?
Look, I mean, human trafficking is something that's happening all across the country every day, as you mentioned in the beginning. We got to give our credit to the Attorney General, who really focused in on this effort. Back in my investigative days, this was something that we would try to plan these these operations, and they're really complicated to get this many law enforcement agencies together, to get victim services, to be able to conduct the actual investigations themselves. So well done to Mississippi and the Attorney General's office.
So 72 people, what are we looking at here? Is this like what you think is prostitution that now we just call human trafficking, or is there more to it that we have to understand?
Yeah, so prostitution obviously is what we have historically called commercial sex. We talk about human trafficking, sex trafficking in particular. We're talking about where it's forced or people are coerced or defrauded into this.
You hear that? They said they talk about where it's forced. People use fraud or are coerced into this. Y'all pay attention out there. And we like to say once again here at International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard, at the Gold Star Standard, we support adult consensual sex workers 100%. We do not support sex trafficking / human trafficking. It's a big difference. Let's continue.
Or even worse, and we saw in this case where at least one juvenile, one child was involved in this type of conduct. And so it's growing at an exponential.
He just spoke on a child that was caught up in this. Once again, if you are arrested for sex trafficking / human trafficking and a minor is involved and you are found guilty federally, you will receive a life sentence. That's life in prison. Think this is a game? You think this is a joke? It's not. Leave those children alone. Find yourself something legal to do. Everything is not for everybody.
Exponential rate. You mentioned it earlier on the show. We're seeing where the internet is becoming a problem. We're seeing where these traffickers, the offenders, are just getting access to younger and younger people and exploiting them for sex.
So I was looking to see if the missing persons registries were going to be somehow implicated in this. And I talked to somebody today and she said no. Unfortunately, a lot of the people, unless they're really young, who get caught up in this are people that people decided to just give up on, or they lie about what's going on because they've been told if they don't lie about it, they're dead. Is that true? And how do they get help now that they've been rescued?
Yeah, in the United States, the average age that somebody first enters into the sex trafficking trade is about 16 years old. In cases a lot younger, I've worked cases as young as 9 years old that were being sold for sex. But the reality is that oftentimes you're right. These young people are written off by the system. They're said, they're juvenile delinquents, they're non-responsive to service.
Hey, you get caught up dealing with a minor out there, you get what you deserve. You make your bed and you lay in it. Leave those children alone. Minors cannot consent. If the victim is under the age of 18, they cannot consent. That's a victim. Minors cannot consent. Okay? We say that almost every video. Some of you seem not to get it. There's a lot of people out there that need to be on the sex offenders list. You need to be on there. Let's continue.
And so we don't invest the time or the effort. We've really got to do better about shifting the narrative around this. As you mentioned in the beginning, this is a domestic problem, right? This is something that's happening here in the United States. It's happening in our communities. It has the ability to impact every neighborhood across our country right now. Yes, those that are coming across the border are particularly vulnerable to trafficking, but it's also U.S. kids and young adults that are being targeted as well.
Yeah, and very often lower on the socioeconomic ladder. White, yes, but the racial diversity of it, let's call it, is almost the most closest thing to parity we have in this society, which is proof of why it doesn't get as much attention as well. If it were all beautiful young white kids from suburban neighborhoods, it'd probably be more of an urgency. Mr. Wolf, we take the problem where we find it, and today is a win, baby, because this is a big bust. Thank you very much for being with me.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll be able to do this again and soon.
He said if it's white kids that's getting caught up in this, it would be more urgent.
Yes.
So I guess according to the statistics out there, it's mostly non-white individuals that's getting caught up in this. That's their words, not mine. I don't know the statistics of it. You can look that up yourself. But no matter what, you're dealing with minors, hey, that's a major problem. And like we say, you should be on the sex offenders list. That's the opinion of International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard at the Gold Star Standard. If you are dealing with minors, it's a problem. International Star Media, the Gold Star Standard at the Gold Star Standard. Reactions, reviews, and news you can use. Once again, I am your host, International Yada, for the records and the dollars. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And we will see you on the next one. Right now, subscribe, like, comment,